Bro, what is this production?
And the thing that I really appreciate about Tank is he's a dog. That kind of what he just said. You can put the earmuffs up and go at it. He kind of will assess you as well, and whatever he needs to do, he'll do it.
Jake Paul has responded to the newly leaked sparring and training footage of Gervonta Tank Davis that's been making waves online, and his reaction has everyone talking. The viral clip shows Davis looking more explosive, sharper, and faster than ever as he gears up for his next fight, sparking major buzz among fans who believe Tank may be entering the peak of his career. Davis has built his reputation in the lighter divisions, usually competing between 133 and 135 pounds, and he's never officially fought above 140 in his professional career. Jake Paul, on the other hand, is a natural cruiserweight who typically steps into the ring around 200 pounds, a massive difference that spans several weight classes. When the gap is that wide, it's not just about size, it changes the entire dynamic of a fight. The heavier fighter tends to have the edge in power, durability, and the ability to absorb punishment, making it less about pure skill and more about who can take a hit and keep fighting effectively.
Something else that's unfortunate is the idea that Jake Paul might actually fight Gervonta Tank Davis. This can't be real. When it came up a couple of months ago, I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to cover this because there's no way. There's no way they're really going to do it because it makes no sense. Why would you do that for him? Outside of it, like, okay, you can look at it like an exhibition, which it will be, and we'll take a look at some of the rule set for it. But Gervonta Davis is one of, if not the best, biggest name at 135 pounds, and is an active, in his prime fighter. I don't want to hear this similar to Floyd and Logan thing, because at that point, Floyd was retired. Floyd had done all he needed to do in this. Tank is still in his prime, still has multiple high-level opponents that he needs to fight. And you can say, oh, you know, the Jake would be a one-off. Side quest. That's fine, but that just tells me Tank doesn't care about being a high-level champion in the sport anymore.
Carmel Moughton recently reflected on a sparring session he had with Gervonta Davis when he was just 15 or 16 years old. He admitted feeling nervous at first, but said the session quickly turned into a tactical chess match, less about raw power and more about timing, speed, and counters. Moughton recalled that Davis never tried to overwhelm him or go for a knockout. Instead, they exchanged angles and rhythm in a strategic flow. While Davis's strength was clearly felt, Moughton said their skill and quickness were evenly matched at times. He described the experience as fun, challenging, and an important learning moment in his growth as a fighter.
What was it like when you fought him? I know you fought like early on. Yeah. What was that experience like? Like replay that experience for me. Like you coming out of it. What was your thought?
Yeah, I was nervous at first. I think I was 15 at the time we sparred, so he wasn't really like trying to knock me out or nothing like that. But we was going like he was using the speed on me. Like we was both like going speed for speed, and it was great. It was like a chess match.
Did you understand in that moment like why he is who he is?
Yeah. I seen why he was able to beat these guys. Then I also see why I'm.
Yeah.
So like I got all this hype around me too.
Sean Porter came to Gervonta Davis's defense regarding his decision to take on an exhibition match with Jake Paul, saying that many critics are missing the bigger picture. According to Porter, this fight isn't about proving greatness, it's about securing long-term financial stability for Davis and his family. Since it's an exhibition, the risks are controlled through agreed-upon rules and safety measures, with the main focus being entertainment. Porter pointed out that boxing careers are often short, and fighters need to seize opportunities that offer both visibility and financial gain. From his perspective, Davis isn't selling out, he's making a smart move to protect his future while giving fans an exciting show. Porter's remarks highlight the ongoing tension between boxing purists chasing legacy and fighters who must also think about life beyond the ring.
So, they're trying to make it safer and all those sorts of things, but there's still this pureness to boxing that really doesn't exist in sports anymore, but it's still there with boxing. I think that's why people have such a problem with this kind of move from Tank Davis.
Is it more the heart? How do you guys feel in boxers?
Man, like once you hear the numbers, I'm like they're talking like I don't know the official one. They're talking about like 100 mil.
Oh, damn.
They're talking about these insane numbers. Like I'm gonna be like, don't take that. I'm not gonna tell another man not to take that type of check, especially for something like that. It's not on your official record. It's an exhibition. I'm not gonna lie here and act like I'm not gonna say yes to 100 million or something like that. But I do see exactly what you're saying about the essence of boxing. I wish they would kind of separate a little more because exhibitions have always been a thing. This has always been an argument.
Right.
But they're just selling it like a real fight almost.
Right.
So I think that maybe if we could create a better like distinction, more of a difference,
right,
there might be less hate on it. But at the end of the day, man, I'm not going to tell Tank not to take that fight.
And I said this last year. I said create a influencer title. And let those guys fight over there in the influencer world. They can live the world and the life of I'm a world champion without having to do something like this. Now, the issue for this that I have is you have a legitimate 135-pound champion fighter get in the ring with a 190-pound guy, whatever it is that Jake Paul is. So now we already let's really answer this thing.
On the other hand, many critics argue that despite all the buzz, the massive size difference turns this matchup into more of a spectacle than a truly competitive or balanced fight. Even the promoters seem to recognize this, putting safety measures in place such as a 195-pound catch weight, larger gloves, and the exhibition format to minimize risk. For them, the real story isn't about the weight, but about Gervonta Davis's pedigree as a proven elite fighter. Jake Paul's record, by contrast, reflects limited experience, and many envision Davis using his speed and precision to land clean shots and make Jake appear awkward, even with the size advantage.
Comment about it. My question is, what's the rules? And like, are they gonna actually try and knock each other out? Because it's gonna be a glorified sparring match. I'm not watching. I don't think so.
Jake's gonna have a hard time hitting him.
Yeah.
You know?
Big time. Gervonta's so fast and skilled.
Gervonta's gonna eat his
I thought
nuts.
Jake was gonna fight Anthony Joshua. That seemed
No, that was actually getting.
that sounded more
craziest idea I've ever heard. Jake Paul trying to fight Anthony Joshua. Great fighter.
Chael Sonnen recently took aim at Jake Paul's decision to move away from a potential bout with Anthony Joshua in favor of fighting Gervonta Tank Davis, calling it a downgrade from what fans were led to expect. Sonnen argued that, unlike Paul, Tank isn't naturally skilled at selling fights or creating hype. He prefers to let his performances in the ring speak for themselves. While Sonnen acknowledged Davis's elite talent and credibility as a boxer, he suggested that without Paul's promotional savvy and ability to stir up media attention, the fight wouldn't generate the same level of excitement. In Sonnen's view, the appeal of this matchup relies far more on Paul's marketing power than on the actual clash between the two fighters.
It is the exact opposite of Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul for two. So the fight that was being dangled and rumored in front of us, the exact opposite is happening. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is not fighting nobody. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is fighting Tank Davis. Okay. So there's one big glaring issue for me. It's just your partner being Tank Davis. Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. It could be a title fight, a contenders fight, a main event fight. He could be the favorite. He could be the underdog. Tank doesn't know how to bring that information to you guys in a way that is compelling. And Tank is already blinking in this situation. You have one guy who is argued amongst the pound for pound current greats in boxing. You have another guy that has suggested he should not even be allowed to box, that he should have to call it something different. He should not be licensed. He should not be ranked in the top 14. He should never be selected for a world title. Okay. Now, Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport.
Over time, Gervonta Davis's perception of Jake Paul has noticeably changed. Initially, Davis wrote Paul off as nothing more than a loud, attention-hungry entertainer, often mocking his boxing ambitions and treating him like a sideshow act. But as Paul began taking his training seriously and earning credibility in the sport, Davis's attitude started to shift. He's since recognized Paul's discipline, mental toughness, and dedication in the gym. Although Davis still doesn't view Paul as an elite-level boxer, he's become more open to the idea of facing him, especially given Paul's massive fan base and ability to draw attention to any event he's involved in.
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake?
Clown. He's a clown. I know that Jake can't fight. He can't fight. So
Would you look at it as a joke if if your team was like, yo, I want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like,
yeah, I laugh at him. You want me to fight him? At first, I didn't like how Jake Paul was coming because of how he was making me look. But now that I see that, I feel as though he's still a clown because that's his personality. I'm starting to respect it because he's not doing it like for the hype. He's really like trying to be a boxer. I think that he's decent.
Yeah.
Like he's good. I mean, he's not good, but he's going that way.
Is he better than you thought he'd be?
Yeah. Got to be mentally tough to be in the box. So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So this shows how tough you are. That's how it should be.
Jake Paul's impressive victory over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. significantly boosted his reputation within the boxing world. The Anaheim event broke the venue's all-time gate revenue record, surpassing shows once headlined by top-tier fighters and proving Paul's immense commercial appeal. Prominent boxing figures like Oscar de la Hoya have since acknowledged Paul's seriousness toward the sport, even suggesting he has the potential to compete for world titles. Manny Pacquiao also praised Paul's commitment, noting that, despite ongoing skepticism, his work ethic can't be dismissed. The performance not only cemented Paul's star power but also earned him technical respect, as analysts highlighted his ring control, composure, and ability to perform under pressure.
Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., it's a real fight. Look, people keep talking about Jake Paul, well, he's not a real fighter, this and that. Well, he's fighting a real fighter now in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It's going to be a good test for both guys. Obviously, Jake Paul, he's a masterclass promoter in what he does. He's been doing some great things. I mean, Mike Tyson, 60 million people. Fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who, when he trains, when he gets in shape, when he's focused, he will be dangerous for anybody. Look, Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So there's a lot of stories to come out from this. A lot of great stories for Jake Paul. So I just feel honored and proud that we can team up with MVP Promotions, with Jake Paul, and we can make Zurdo Ramirez with Torticos the mandatory. That's going to be a bloodbath in itself. So we're excited.
Jake Paul has officially declared that his next phase in boxing is just getting started, and this time, he's setting his sights on real, seasoned boxers. Following his win over Andre August, Paul announced that he's done facing crossover or MMA opponents and is now fully committed to pursuing traditional boxing challenges against legitimate professionals. In an interview with CNN, he emphasized his goal to face anyone and everyone, especially the toughest opponents where he's considered the underdog, determined to prove himself inside the ring. Across his public appearances and social media, Paul has made it clear that he wants to move beyond spectacle and focus on building a genuine boxing legacy by taking on credible fighters and earning his place among the sports elite.